Hello everyone, my name is Carl, and today I'm going to be talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Alright, this game was developed by BANDAI Namco Studios and Sora Limited together, and published by Nintendo for the Switch on December 7th, 2018. It'll run you the classic AAA Nintendo $59.99 and has been rated E10 plus for cartoon violence, comic mischief, and suggestive themes. This is the fifth entry in the Super Smash Bros. Series. This time with the tagline, "Everyone is here," because all fighters that were cut from older games have been brought back into Smash Ultimate. Now, while this is primarily just a fighting game, and therefore kind of the main draw is the player versus player fighting aspect, there is a story mode this time around, in which the evil god of light, Galeem, takes over the world and captures everybody, turning all the fighters into trophies and a bunch of other minor characters across the various franchises that Smash Bros. Encompasses into spirits, with the exception of one little Kirby. Galeem uses these trophies to make weird husks of the fighters and uses the spirits to inhabit these husks and uses them to kind of keep control over the world. And it's up to Kirby to slowly take out these copies, free the spirits, rescue the fighters from their trophies, and eventually take back the world and defeat Galeem once and for all. So going into this game, my anticipation. I love Super Smash Bros. I have since the original was out. I've been playing it since then, back in like 98, 99, around there. Since this was coming out before Christmas, on December 7th, we have a rule in my household that says after Black Friday, you are not allowed to buy yourself any games or anything at all, because someone else may have already bought you that thing. So instead, to circumnavigate that rule, I told everybody in August that I had pre-ordered this game, you know, 4 months ahead of time, so that I could get it on release, and I could play it right away. So yeah, I was ready to go. I showed up to the midnight release, picked this up. I was very excited for this game. So, regardless of how I felt going in, how do I feel coming out? Gameplay wise, of course, this is a fighting game. Some people, if you want to get into semantics, would tell you that this is a brawler. It features the characters on a stage, two or more characters, both of which, or all of which, have percent, which is their damage. If you get hit by an attack, you take percent, you take damage, and the more percent you have, the farther the attack will knock you back. And if you get knocked either directly off the screen, or you get knocked off the screen and you can't make it back to the platform, and you fall off the sides, the bottom, or the top, then you will lose a life, a stock. Lose all your stocks, that's game. There's a few game modes, one where you get points for KOing people, but yeah, that's the basic thing. Knock your opponents off the stage, prevent them from coming back. Now, just kind of like a disclaimer, and I'll talk a bit more about that later. I am reviewing this game holistically. A lot of people go to fighting games specifically for the competitive aspect of it. They want to know, how is this game if I were to learn it competitively, with the goal of playing it and getting good at a high level of competitive play. I am not reviewing a game from that angle. I am reviewing this game as the entire game that a layman might see, or might think, or might feel about it going in. So there we go. But yeah. So going into it, if kind of segueing off of that, if you look at a fighting game, they're oftentimes have way too high of a skill ceiling. Like I talked about in my Pokken tournament review, if you want to get good at the game, you just need to sit down and you need to grind it out, and there's not much content other than just PvP. But I think personally, that's kind of bad game design. I think fighting games are designed poorly in that way, because it means that you really only can cater to an audience that likes and enjoys fighting games, right? So like, it doesn't matter if Street Fighter 6 has not come out yet. If Street Fighter 6 came out and it got rave reviews, it got 100 on Metacritic, everybody was saying it was the best fighting game of all time, I still wouldn't want to pick it up. Why? Because it's a fighting game. I have no interest in learning Street Fighter. Like, maybe if the story mode was good, maybe like I might want to like look at it, but I'm not like busting down the door to pick up Street Fighter because it's just a fighting game. Like, the only it's made to only be good in a competitive aspect, which I'm getting a little off topic here, but my point being, Smash Bros is not that way. Smash Bros is the only fighting game that I know of where you can take it to a party and have people want to play it. I can't do that with Fatal Fury or Tekken or Street Fighter or any of those games because I show up and I'd say, "Hey, does anybody want to play Guilty Gear?" And they're like, "No, what's that? I don't know any of these characters. I don't know how to play this game. You're just going to beat the snot out of me. I'm not going to understand what's going on." And then that's it. But if you say, "Hey, does anybody want to play Smash Bros?" Even people that have never played it before, or definitely never played it in any competitive capacity, are going to be like, "Yes, I want to play this game," for a few reasons. One, more than two players. It's not you locked into a room with a total sweat who knows exactly how to play the game. It's easy to understand. The hitboxes make sense. You can't. There's not a lot of combos going on, so it's not like you're sitting there like while they're comboing me, wondering like, is this something I can escape out of or is this not? Um, there's recognizable characters, right? I'm not gonna walk into Tekken and be like, oh my god, it's Gene Kazuma. Sorry, again, I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go in here and be like, oh, it's Mario, it's Kirby, it's Link, stuff like that. Um, so it's the fighting game for people that like just games and not fighting games. And that's one of the biggest things that I enjoy about Super Smash Bros. Is it actually is a fighting game that has worth outside of its competitive nature. You know, um, and it's the best selling fighting game of all time for a reason, and for that reason, I think, in general, like the gameplay itself, like actually playing is really satisfying to do. Like when it connects, makes a really satisfying sound. You feel it. They go flying. You feel like you did something cool. They made little changes in this game to make it feel more satisfying. There are certain strong moves that don't hit often, but when they do, like the camera will zoom in on you if it's just two players left. There's like the launching physics. In older games, you would get launched and you'd kind of like, you know, like physics would dictate if you were like getting launched through like water or something. It would slow you down. You get launched and then you slow down. But with this game, you get launched and you go pew, and then you stay wherever it was, and that helps to like speed up. Okay, you launched them off the stage. All right, now boom, they're there. Now they have to get back, and that like serves to um really like cut out in like the downtime of, okay, wait for you to get launched out and then come back. The game feels much snappier, and all the changes from the last one, Smash 4, I feel serve to make the game play and flow better. Of course, this is all in the normal Smash mode, where it's just the player versus player or player versus computer fighting on a stage and whatnot. But there are a bunch of other different game modes as well. But since they use the same formula, I'm not going to talk about them as much here. I'll talk about it in the story section right now. Okay, so the story. So this is both the story of the story mode and talking about all the different like modes and features and whatnot that are included, the content rather. So there are two main draws in the content. There is the "Everyone is Here" tagline, and there is the "World of Light" story mode. So first things first, everyone is here. Every character that was cut from the older games are back, along with a handful of new ones, bringing the total to 73 fighters. It depends on how you count them, without the DLC. Um, without the DLC, excuse me. So World of Light, if you have played Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii, there was a story mode called the Subspace Emissary there. It's similar to that concept of actually having a story mode, but in this one it's a little different. Whereas the Subspace Emissary was like very much story driven of like these characters were here, these characters were there, this one goes over here, this happened, this guy fights that guy. This one's just you started as Kirby and you go and you fight spirits, fight fighters, free them, and then you can use those fighters. And the reason there aren't any trophies in the game. In past games, there were like 3D models made that you could collect in game of different characters that weren't fighters, and they're called trophies. And those were cut in this game, and they were cut in favor of spirits, which are just static PNGs of the fighters. And while it is kind of sad that it's not a set story like Subspace Emissary, it's just kind of like a go, and there are no trophies and just spirits. I do understand why, because like this is an absolutely gargantuan um lineup of characters, and it would be near impossible to like keep everybody straight and like have a good story where every character gets their time in the spotlight. So I do understand why they didn't do that. Trophies again, with every entry in the series, both the number of fighters goes up, the number of different other video game series that are represented, and therefore the pool of side characters that can be represented as trophies increases, and the resolution of the game increases. So therefore, um, like it's harder to do each trophy. So I do respect, you know, their decision to just keep the original artwork, and it's the original artwork, so like I can't complain. It's feels even more like a crossover because you're seeing this original art brought in here. So yeah, and while World of Light doesn't really have like story, it has enough of like general, okay, this is what's going on, oh, that's what's going on, I fight this boss fight now. It has a really good like sense of progression and everything. So I was very satisfied with playing through World of Light, even if it wasn't, as epic as Brawl's Subspace Emissary was. Um, Also, just the sheer number of spirits. I want to say there's either close to or over 1,000 in the base game. A lot of them are in World of Light, but some you have to go get through the spirit board, which is like a specific mode set for finding spirits. There's like if you want to get spirits of the fighters themselves, you have to go through classic mode and beat that. Um, yeah, like it was really fun going through and collecting them all. I do have at least one of every spirit because I'm that guy. My one complaint about the spirits though is that um they're not really fun in PvP. So how they work is you take your fighter and you equip a spirit on them, and the spirit modifies their stats. Overall, a net increase of stats though, and then it might give them an ability like do more damage to big enemies or start the battle coated in metal, something like that. And then that main spirit might have smaller, like might have some 0 to 3 slots where you can equip up to 3 other spirits which also have abilities. So you might say, okay, start the battle with a beam sword or whatever. But like overall, it's we tried it a bit. It's really broken and wonky where like you start one-shotting people and whatnot. It is fun to do the spirits and like make teams in order to try to figure out how to beat other spirits, especially the really strong ones. But player versus player it does not work. Like custom matches like that, I it can be fun to mess around with, but it's not actually any source of long-term fun, I don't think. But yeah, on to other modes. There's classic mode, which as I mentioned before, if you win, you get a spirit. You get artwork of the fighter you won with. In this iteration, every fighter has a custom specific set path to them, like specific to them. For example, if you choose Captain Falcon, his route is called Up Close and Personal, and in each battle you fight a a different character that is known for or benefits from being close to their opponent. So you fight Ganondorf, Little Mac, Roy is the only sword fighter in there, but he has stronger attacks at the base of his blade, stuff like that. And then at the end, you fight a boss. In this case, it was Giga Bowser because Giga Bowser is, more of the or one of the less projectile based um, uh, bosses that are available, and there are like 6 big bosses, which are pretty cool. Um, and then there's like a smattering of other modes. There's like multi-man smash, which you can try to beat 100 Mii's as quickly as possible. The entire cast as quick as possible, stuff like that. There's the main Smash Bros mode where you can change rules and stuff and make it an HP battle instead of a get knocked off the edge battle and stuff like that. But yeah, wrapping up the story segment, I want to talk about, of course, the everyone is here aspect. In the base game alone, there are over 70 fighters, 100 stages, and like I said, around 1,000 spirits, and hours and hours and hours on end of music across like tons of video game franchises, even ones that do not have any representation in the actual roster of fighters. Um, so like yeah, you'll have a Nintendogs song, even though obviously a Nintendog is not a playable character. Um, and should not be comments section. In any case, how they're unlocked is also really cool too. There's like around 70, right? But you start out with 8 fighters, the exact 8 that were initially unlocked in the first Smash 64, which typically the game will come released with, a decent like half the roster unlocked, and then you have to unlock the other half. This game, no, 10%, a little over 10% of the roster is unlocked. And how it works is if you play, games of Smash, the more you play, you hit a certain time milestone, and then it goes challenger approaches, and then you're thrown into a one stock 1v1 duel with that character on their home stage. And if you win, boom, you unlock them. If you lose, you have to go to the challenger approach and rematch them later and try to unlock them. So I really, really loved how it was done. I could see how you would be like upset if you just wanted to play the character you want, and then now you have to wade through all of these different characters. And I know it's like some tournament people were like they had like setups, bring their own setup, like buy a fresh game, and it's like, oh crap, now we have to have all characters unlocked on this setup, but like it's going to take us 16 hours per game to unlock them all, which stinks. I know some games have like a cheat where you like hold down this that and it unlocks everything for you, but this game does not. So I don't know. Could have given me the freedom with the cheat, but I get it as well. I had a blast unlocking everything. Um, but yeah, in terms of like the everyone being here, like I was a little miffed going in. Some fighters, in my humble opinion, do not deserve to be in this game. Like a lot of them, if you look at Melee, a lot of the additions in Melee, Pichu, Dr. Mario, Young Link, we're just like, oh crap, we need another fighter. We don't have time. Control C, Control V. But like after thinking about it, if you've got like the assets already loaded and the move sets and everything, and they were a fighter, like might as well. Um, I wanted them to like make him an Echo Fighter, like Pichu, an Echo Fighter, a Pikachu, like a little asterisk basically, which is what they did with some other characters, but whatever. So yeah, I don't know. At the end of the day, more characters is more characters, and if it didn't really take development time away from doing like a unique character, then I'm not too upset. Why not just throw them in, right? In any case, enough rambling about the content and the story. On to the graphics and art style. It's hard to pin down like a set art style for Ultimate. I mean, you've got this like promotional art style, which I do like. It's featured like in an in-game mural. I like this kind of like it's got this mural like painting aesthetic to it. But the reason why it's hard to pin down an in-game art style is because it does such a good job of blending all of these different art styles. There's like cell shaded characters, like Little Mac. He or Toon Link are cell shaded, and they look kind of cartoony. There's like a character like Snake who has really realistic fabric pattern on him. There are other like cartoony, like looking like 3D CGI cartoony looking ones like Duck Hunt. Then there's even 2D art styles. Like Mr. Game & Watch is a two-dimensional character, but they all fit really well into the game. It's really well done. I will say though, particle effects and stuff like fire, electric, shock waves and stuff do look really nice, make the game flow well, and help to make everything like flow and look more seamless, I guess. There are a few moves that I noticed like have a really weird hitbox that you're kind of like, did I really get hit by that? But for the most part, like everything feels and looks very cohesive and intuitive, and I appreciate that. On to the music. Uh, Kind of the same thing with the art style, the music itself. Like the game doesn't have a lot of its own music. It just has tons and tons and tons of games pulled from of tunes pulled from other games, and I love that about it. Like this game made an even bigger effort of just like pulling music in. There's like one of the DLCs that has like 30 tracks or something on it. Like they just like, you know what, why not? People like the song, let's put it in. Like if we got the rights to it, literally why not? And that's what I kind of feel like in the past, they'll be like curating of like, oh, we only want the best songs for this. But then it comes to a point where you're so big and you're so like all encompassing, like why not just throw in any and all song? Why not, right? A lot of songs um were thrown in like straight from the game, which I really appreciated. Um they weren't remixed, which normally I would feel like, oh, that's lazy, like they're not doing like an extra remix. But this game, I feel like it's more than just a game. It's like a Hall of Fame slash museum of video games, right? So I personally love the fact that they're just throwing content in there and being like, yeah, you know, here it is. Because would you really, you got two choices, having it or not having it. Which one you'd rather have it, right? It's not hurting you if it's in there. Um, but yeah, to talk about the original music, of course, the only really original song, there's a couple like, event match, tourney background music or whatever, but the main real song is the World of Light theme song. Um, that and it's called Lifelight. Excuse me, I blanked on the name for it. It's called Lifelight, and the tune I like the first time I heard the song in like one of the first Smash trailers, I was like, that's a Smash Bros theme. But then like the main rendition is this like woman singing it, this like lone vocalist singing the song, and that I really don't like that. Because like the last time they had, the only other time they had a vocalist in the main theme of a Smash game was Brawl, but it was like a giant choir singing in Latin, right? Like a dead language, and it sounded very majestic and regal and important. And it's just like a single vocalist singing about specifically like on that day when the sky fell away, our world came to an end. And it's like, okay, one, you can kind of tell that it was originally a Japanese song and that was translated, because things don't, it's like they don't quite match up. Two, it's like really literal, like, talking about the sky falling and blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, that's exactly what happened. And I just prefer in Brawl when they had a choir singing Latin. It felt very, especially when it's like everyone is here. Well, what happened to the choir? Did they leave? You've only got one singer. Where did everyone else? Where did all the other singers go? It just kind of feels like jarring. I'm no music theorist, but yeah, I don't know. I would have much rather just had it not be specific, like be a bunch of people or nobody. no singers, have it all have it all like not be so directly tied to the story and just have it be generic things like Brawl. Brawl knew how to do it. Brawl's a great game. Anyway, so on to DLC. I actually have a substantial thing to talk about with DLC here. So yeah, we got a lot of it. There are two main varieties of DLC. There's fighter packs and there's Mii costumes. The Mii fighter costumes are like 75 cents each. Get them if you want, like whatever. If you're gonna make a Mii that's a meme and put a freaking costume on it, sure. I bought them all because I'm a completionist, and I'm an idiot. But whatever. Like if you want them, buy them. That's it. The only ones that I would point out specifically as being special are the Cuphead and the Sans from Undertale ones. Both of those come with a song um, attached to the fighter costume. So if you want to like get the songs and you have no interest in the fighter costume, then we might just want to buy the costume. But yeah, so now we're gonna do an in-depth purchasing guide of the fighters passes. There are 12 different DLC fighters you can get. Piranha Plant, the first one, is a weird one. It was free for the first month or two after the game's release, but now it's $6, $5.99, and it contains just the fighter. All right. Fighters Pass 1 contains 5 fighter packs for $24.99 if you buy them all together. But if you purchase them individually, $5.99. So $6 for one fighter, 25 for all 5. So you save $1 on each pack for $5. Each pack has a fighter, an accompanying stage, and accompanying music for that stage. That's it. You have in the Fighters Pass, if you buy Fighters Pass 1, you get the 5 characters of Joker from Persona 5, Hero, the main character from Dragon Quest, Banjo and Kazooie from the self-titled series, Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury or King of Fighters, and Byleth from Fire Emblem. Side note, I really liked this Fighters Pass as being all characters from other like franchises that had yet not been in Smash at all. I felt it awesome that they were bringing in new like franchises and like worlds collide and all that. And then they freaking brought in Violet, which is another Fire Emblem character. There's only like 20 Fire Emblem characters in the game. Whatever. That's an exaggeration, but you know. All right, and then there's DLC Pack 2, which has 6 fighter packs. And this one's $29.99, $30, each individually $5. So it's the same thing. You save $1 on each if you buy each of them. You also get a bonus Mii costume of ancient armor from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild if you buy the pack. I'm not sure if you can buy that on it by itself, but that's a bonus if you buy the pack. You get Min Min from Nintendo's own new IP, ARMS. Relatively new IP. It's like 5 years old at this point. Steve and Alex from Minecraft. They're just alternate skins of each other. Sephiroth, the main antagonist from Final Fantasy VII. Pyra and Mithra is like one character that can switch between these two characters that have different variations of their moves. And Sora, the main character from Kingdom Hearts. So, again, obviously, I'm not talking about this game for competitive audience, so I'm not going to tell you which one's the best one to get for because it's the highest on the tier list or whatever. But I'll say this broadly, right? I have not played every single one. Oh, did I skip over? Kazuya from Tekken. I don't know if I said that. That's the 5th one. 5th out of 6 from the DLC pack 2. I have not played all of these series. I've never played Kingdom Hearts or Tekken or Final Fantasy VII or Persona or Fatal Fury. You know, half these characters, I've never played them. But every single one, from what I can tell, you know, I can speak for the ones that I do have played the games before, but every single one feels very, very, very well done. Their move sets are like an homage, you know, are a love letter to their own series. So if you buy a character because you like that character, you will not be disappointed. They are done well, right? But, you know, of course, Some of these characters I don't feel like they should be in Smash Bros, but that's neither here nor there. If you're gonna buy one character because you want them, do it. In general, should you just go out and buy all of them? I did because I love this game, and every single one of these characters plays a little differently, brings a little bit something new for the table in terms of gameplay and keeping things fresh. Some people don't like that because they want to, they've learned to play a certain way, and that works against most of the fighters. But then if they play against a DLC fighter, it doesn't work. Their strategy doesn't work against. They'll get angry about. But I think these are all fun characters. Every single one of them is a fun character. Pretty much every character in this game is a fun character, in my opinion, but whatever. If you're doing the math, though, it can feel a little weird. $60 for a game that comes with 70 fighters, and then you want me to pay $6 for every one extra, or $5 for every one extra? That feels weird. But then again, most of the characters in Ultimate were brought back from older games. Only 7 of them were completely new, not clone fighters. So 7 characters for $60. But if you want to do the math, you can look at it that way and not get them. Of course, if you want to actually do the math, if you buy all but one in a Fighter's Pass, you might as well have just bought the Fighter's Pass because you get it, $1 off each character if you buy the Fighter's Pass versus just buying them all individually. But yeah, I'd say if you're thinking of buying like 2 from a Fighter's Pass, just buy the whole thing. I'm of the opinion, really all or nothing. Either don't get them at all or get all of them. Piranha Plant, though, is a little weird one. Like, $6 really just for the plant. I got them for free, obviously, because that's what they were doing. I got the game release day, but, like, I don't know. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Because, like, at the end of the day, if you buy all this, even without the Mii Fighters, you're spending over like $100 on this entire game. And that feels weird. But I don't know. Some people spend more than $100 on one character in a gacha game. So, this is better than a gacha game. All right. Enough rambling about DLC. Recommendation. There is a reason, a very good reason, this is the best selling fighting game of all time. That surpassed even Street Fighter 2 that's been out for decades more and has re-released a bajillion times. It is the only fighting game I have ever played that I have found accessible and easy to learn, for anyone coming in with video game experience at all. Not only is it a love letter and a museum and a hall of fame of sorts for Nintendo characters, it has since evolved into this big ol' like hall of fame for all of video games. Like if your character from your video game is in Smash Bros, that kind of means like you made it. You made your mark on video gaming as a whole. Chances are, if you are a fan of video games in general, you will have someone that you know represented the roster, and you will have fun if you play it with friends, even if y'all aren't diehard fans. Even if there's one diehard, sweaty guy in the mix, you probably still all have fun, because you'll all gang up on that one. So yeah, this game's a total smash hit. I have no reservations giving this a 10 out of 10. Yeah, you can nitpick and say, oh, well, other game modes, blah, 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 but the balance isn't, and Melee's better because it has, I don't care. The love for the video game industry and video game characters in this is amazing. Hats off to you, Mr. Director, Masahiro Sakurai-san. And yeah, this is my favorite fighting game of all time. 10 out of 10. I'll give it the perfect. That's it. Anyway. Thanks for listening to my long ramble about a game that probably had already everything said about it already. If you do you agree with what I said? Do you disagree? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments down below. I read all my comments. But other than that, stay safe, other folks, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye.